What up? What up? Welcome to another impromptu commentary live stream of a new video of mine. Seeing if I'm getting anything going on here. Oh, yeah, the premiere has already started. Welcome to part 2 of the of this thing. Part 2 of my commentary stream. I muted it. But this is part 2 of the commentary stream. And I will go ahead and go to the other one. So both the premiere and the live stream started at the same time. So I'm gonna go over here and take a look at chat here. It is starting. The premiere is in progress. Yep. At the moment, one concurrent viewer. Once again, this is gonna be another hour-long video because of the scope and the nature of this live stream of mine. Oh, and I was wondering how I actually got this muted. Oh, it doesn't look like I have, but oh well. At 7:05, the video will actually start. That actual video. Once again, I had made sure that I have subtitles turned on. Yep, they are. So that way, because this stream right now is pretty much just a commentary stream on my latest video. For those of you that are watching the premiere right now, you won't actually get to hear any of my commentary, but if you're on this live stream, you will. If any of you out there have been kind of like browsing through this, and I gotta make sure I don't fall asleep like that last one, because the last one, I kind of fell asleep on my chair, so that was kind of like a little bit of a delay there, but oh well. And we are about a few minutes in. Just a few minutes in. 1:20. Okay, 40 seconds now. Hello, Vince Raynard Tan. Welcome to my commentary live stream. This is obviously something that's not not that common here on my channel. Me commenting on some of my videos. By the way, the video is actually going to start in just a minute. So, if you're ready for this, then let's begin and watch the video ourselves. Hello everyone and welcome to another special video here on the channel. Now once again I would like to begin by saying this is a continuation from the last video that we did just recently on this channel, which is obviously me building that very special build of mine, and that was about like an hour or some video. So yeah, if you haven't watched part 1 of this build process, you should definitely check it out on my channel just a little bit, which in fact we're probably gonna go ahead and jump straight into it right now. So with that being said, please enjoy the video. Okay, so now we're back here. I had to turn down the volume of the desktop audio so that way you can hear my commentary instead of my commentary and my video at the same time. So it's just kind of like yeah, see about that. So essentially what I have here is I essentially reused the setup that I used for my Intel compact, which I have it set over there near the area where all the gaming consoles are, my retro gaming consoles are. That table over there, pretty much just set up for an overview video of mine, which I will be putting out sometime this month, hopefully, probably tomorrow or next week, or whatever I feel like it. And this was at the time that I was using this was at the time when I was still using the motherboard's onboard audio. That was before I got the sound card for it. That was the Sound Blaster Live. This was before I bought the Sound Blaster Live for it. Yeah, do excuse me. I'm also I'm entering in chat on the Premiere, obviously. So yeah, we're we're 3 people, including me, on the live chat in here as well. And here's me actually starting up the computer for the very first time. This is what it looked like before. Initially, I had the black floppy drive, and I had the listen to this. Platform smoke test. Yeah, I kind of took that. I kind of took that quote obviously from someone here on YouTube. And here's a cut. Intel desktop board. Intel inside titanium 4. It's kind of echoey there for a sec. Well, I mean, my editing software kind of like had a slight delay there. That is so interesting. It's actually powered on for the first time. Magic, magic, magic. Oh. So I do have to wonder, have I wired all the jumpers properly? Not too sure. Whoa. CMOS checksum bad. CMOS date/time not set. I heard the PC speaker beep. So how many degrees is it out here today? 83 degrees. It's gonna get pretty hot. By Monday, Tuesday, it'll be like 98 degrees. So not that close to triple digits, but still, it's getting pretty hot. A heat wave coming in this spring. It's almost like summer's come early. But yeah, enough about that. This is pretty much me testing out and seeing if I wired everything up correctly, and it seems like it did, because I pressed the power button in there, and that worked. So yeah, as you can see, that actually worked. And then here's me pressing the reset button. And as you can see in this multicam shot, it actually worked. So that kind of proves my point that I kind of wired up everything correctly. And that's just me holding down the reset button. You know, in hindsight, you could actually do something similar, you know, like on an NES, you know, something like that.
The power light is on there. This access light and not here. So that's something that
So that was at the point where I didn't have the power LED light properly wired yet, and I only had the hard drive access light. But because the light was the hard drive access light was constantly illuminating, I didn't know that it was the hard drives, you know, the hard drive that was causing it. Because if you can tell from my other streams I did on this thing, the hard drive access light actually worked because I swapped out the hard drive itself. Okay, everyone's moved to my premiere instead of my commentary. So I mean, you're watching this live stream. This is pretty much just like a little bit of a commentary from me. From me, kind of elaborating on some of the stuff that I did at the time, and when filming this video, obviously. So this is just like a little bit of like a bonus extra thing put on top of this video. Again, I did my best to kind of like pasting this video as best as I can, but this is all I got, so live with it. I did my best, but yeah. So yeah, as you can see, the power LED is actually like, it looks like it's on like a three pin setup, but the first and last pins are connected, and the middle pin is not connected. So that's why I kind of like well, you'll get to see on later in this video, obviously. So not gonna spoil it. Yes, I kind of like switch that out, and then I don't see that light. So one thing was not actually wired right, and that was the power LED. Okay, hello. Again, I turned down the audio on the video, the desktop audio, so that way you can hear my commentary. But if you want to listen to the rest of the video, without my commentary, then you should watch the premiere. Obviously, that's happening right now. Both of them are live, by the way, so I basically have technically 2 live streams, but one of them is a pre-recorded video, one of them is actually an actual live stream, which this one that you're watching right now is. The one that's a pre-recorded video is the one that you're seeing on screen. And so here's me trying to, an attempt to kind of like take out the, the base jumpers here.
header out for this one. Now I think I'm just gonna go ahead and snap these headers.
So yeah, all those jump cuts. But yeah, you can see me actually taking out those headers and kind of like putting them on. So basically I had like those, I split up the headers obviously.
Now put that into the negative one. The negative side. And it's in. Now pins are separated.
And now I actually have those as separate pins. And I'm hoping, I'm also hoping to get like the one that actually has like 2 pins instead of 3. And here's the moment of truth. Did I wire everything right? So I turn the power outlet on. And let's see how this works.
Yes!
There we go! I got both lights working. However, the hard drive access light is still in solid color. And I would not realize until much later that it was probably the hard drive that I had in here at the time that was causing it. Because right now I had it swapped to a different type of hard drive, and it actually blinks properly. You know what I mean, obviously. That light is actually helpful to tell if your computer actually has power. So if you actually unplug it from a power source, then that light actually goes away for a few seconds. Like, it goes away after a few seconds, as you see right there. That's helpful, obviously, because I know older boards, especially the ones on my 2 compact systems, didn't have something like that, obviously. Yep, you can definitely see it was gone. And then here comes me setting up, taking a look at the software side of things as per usual. It's basically continuing where we left off, where I left off, from the previous video that I had uploaded on the channel. 9 views, 1 current viewers on the commentary live stream, but Yep, the good old Intel desktop board stingery. I actually seen a variant of that, in the YouTube video that I watched like all those years ago, obviously. Yep, I mentioned it there. Obviously. And obviously a hint, a little bit of something from that video. It was not a Pentium 4 screen. It was like a Celeron screen or something. I think even the Pentium 3 type Intel desktop boards also had something like that too. And I would also think that you could also replace this screen with your own, obviously, but you would need like a certain type of tool or utility to kind of like do that. However, unfortunately, excuse me for a sec, I had to like blow some dust off of my other phone. But yeah, like I was saying, in order to change the Intel desktop board's boot screen, the splash screen, you would need like a separate utility or tool to kind of like do that. Unfortunately, those tools have not been archived, so we obviously can't do that. So I mean, if anybody out there still has the tools or something, then please let me know. If you have it or anything, but if anyone's watching this live stream, or live replay, let me know, because I want to see how those work. And especially, as you see right there, Intel desktop boards up there too. You can also change that too. But again, you would need like a separate utility or something to do that, which unfortunately, like I said, has not been archived. Because I checked on the Wayback Machine and it has not been archived. And I haven't checked on archive.org, but it's probably not there, so that's a bit moot. I could probably tell you that it's probably because we're using a different system bus speed, so that's why system memory speeds and the processor FSB speeds are different too. So we're not actually using like the max 533 megahertz, FSB speeds. So that's why I was getting that. As you can see there, because I replaced the battery, the settings have changed. As you can see, I'm just kind of like browsing through the BIOS, and I just wanted to see how that worked, and that probably is set to default. But yeah, as you can see there, the date's set to default by, it's set to default on January 1st, 2002, and the system time is also reset to 00:00:00. That's why I likely assume. When the CMOS battery is dead, then it resets to that. So this is actually a me setting the time. At the time of recording, it is December 16, 2025 when I recorded this. Yeah, you can tell I was kind of like a night owl here, because it was almost close to around like 2 a.m. when I recorded this clip. And as you can see here, I'm actually using like the 1 gig RAM stick, obviously. I think I still had that 1 gig RAM stick around here somewhere. I just put it away because I had the other 512. I had two 512 gig RAM sticks in it now. But, because I know the maximum amount of memory that you can put on this thing is like 2 gigs. For this board anyway. Who knows when I'll upgrade it to the max amount of memory of 2 gigs. We'll see about that. Processor type Intel Pentium 4, processor speed 2 GHz. Yeah, you can tell I think I might have said the processor speed of that CPU wrong in the last stream. Because as you can see here, it's an Intel Pentium 4 at 2 GHz with a 400 MHz front side bus speeds. And obviously, this is like a Intel Pentium 4 2A gigahertz. This is one of the Northwood Pentium 4s. I think the probably highest on this board is probably like the 2.8 Northwood 533 megahertz frontside bus speed on 2.8 gigahertz. And then like the max is probably like a 3.06 hyper-threading Northwood Pentium 4 at 533 megahertz frontside bus speeds, which I would love to get for this machine in the future, obviously, if that time comes. As you can see here, it's trying to load into something. And I don't know if I had the hard drive plugged in here. So I was hitting the restart, hitting the reset button, pressing the reset button. Intel desktop boards. Yeah, you can tell how long it's getting there. I think it's probably because of what, probably because of whatever the the kind of setup that I had on here. Right now, it's not actually doing that. In its current state now. So I mean, this is obviously at a time when I set it up the first time. So probably bear with me because some of them I have not left. Some of most of the stuff I have not edited out. Didn't make any cuts, so some of them is gonna be real time, obviously. So just kind of show what I was going through at the time. So yeah, plug and play OS, no, and I turned on non-block. And yep, I was using both audio and LAN device all built in. Though I did turn off the built-in audio when I got the dedicated sound card for it, which I will say again is a Sound Blaster Live type sound card. Now, I will say this. When I got the first Sound Blaster Live card, that wasn't like an OEM type card. It's like a Dell OEM type card. I think it was like a CT4 4780 model type card. And I tried getting drivers for it, obviously. Tried getting that card to work on my system, but I don't know, it's kind of hit or miss. So that's why I did some research and found out that a Sound Blaster Live SB0100 is pretty much one of the best cards to obviously get for a Sound Blaster Live card. So I obviously got that. So I got the Sound Blaster Live SB0100, and I took the OEM card out and I put that card in, and I installed the May 21st, 2007. Okay, and then CMOS battery. But yeah, as I was saying, I got the Sound Blaster Live SB0100 card, and I put that into the system. I installed the drivers, and it pretty much went well. Yeah. In fact, I still have the card in that system, obviously. It's in there now. This is pretty much me. At this point, it's just pretty much me going through what this BIOS has to offer, obviously. Oh. Seems like I'm the only participant in the live chat on the premiere, and the only one in this one on the live stream too. So, to anyone of you that's watching this live stream or watching the premiere that's happening right now, this is pretty much something, obviously. Oh, and I'm gonna do something here. So, let me see. What?
Silent boot. Disabled displays normal post messages. Enabled displays OEM logo instead of post messages. Okay. Intel Rapid BIOS boot allows BIOS to skip certain tests while booting. This will decrease the time to boot.
The Rapid BIOS boot is basically like quick boot, like on my compact systems. So it pretty much just skips certain BIOS checks. That's basically what it is. Oh yeah, you can obviously tell boot device priority. The only one that's on there is like the removable drive thing, because I didn't have the. I'll probably get into it later. I didn't have the ID cable set up correctly, so Yeah.
And rapidly does pretty quickly, but somehow the hard drive is saying the system was not detecting any of my ID then for whatever reason. I'm not sure. Am I gonna hear the floppy drive sheet sound? You hear that? That weird?
Yeah, at this point, I kind of figured out what's causing the problem here. Because I did had the cables set in right, but because of the type of cables that I was using, they're like a 40 pin, 40 wire IDE cables. Yeah, it's, you know, it's something.
Let's take a look at all these things. I'm also
Now, if you excuse me, I gotta see what I can do about the Windows probably there, so I'm just gonna,
it seems like all the stuff around there.
while I'm doing it, I'm also, while I let this Premiere run, I'm gonna obviously do something here
Functional.
on the stuff that's happening here. So, yeah, let's see about that. I have to get an actual shareable link.
I gotta have to figure all this stuff out.
So I basically swapped them around, and yep, you can see that actually works. So it definitely was. I had put the ID cables on backwards.
I did put the ID cable backwards. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna put it here. Master the smooth camping, play the table on the first plane.
So yeah, I'm pretty much going through here.
Drive is not starting up. Definitely something wrong with it. I think that might be because of the ID cable. Let's wait for the ID cable wires back in. Turn on smoke test.
As you can see here. So at the moment, everything is working, as you can see here.
The hard drive is actually spinning.
So yeah, the hard drive is actually spinning as it should be there.
Yep. I don't see hard drive acting spot, so I'm just going to have to change it up around. I think I've got everything in there. Alright, here we go. hopefully that's the thing too. If I do it this way, then it will be right on top. So I flip it around and
And that's just me pretty much testing to see if I can try to get the hard drive access light, to actually properly blink, which it isn't, as you can see here. I wouldn't find out until much later that it was probably the that it was probably the the hard drive that was causing it. So yeah. So as you can see here, I'm just pretty much referencing the cable layout of my AMD compact, which I do have still, with its side panel opened up because I kind of tinkered around with it a bit. So yeah, I can actually, I'm actually kind of referring to the front panel connections here, as you can see. Yeah, I was still trying to troubleshoot the solid red light on the hard drive access light. I was trying my best to see if I can try to get it actually blink. Like I said, when I kind of put the hard drive from my AMD compact into this custom build of mine, it actually blinks properly. So it was probably the hard drive's fault. The hard drive that I had in this system before. So that was kind of like the culprit. So, but that wouldn't be until much later. So yeah, at that point, I just pretty much said forget it and just moved on to the software side of things. Take a look at what is on it, the hard drive and whatnot. And by the way, the hard drive, I will say, when I originally built the system, it was a 160 gig Western Digital Caviar drive that I had in the system. Yeah, we can pretty much tell. I think it went by fairly quick. Oh, and now we can see removable drives and ATAPI CD-ROM drives, and hard disk drives. Hard disk drives and ATAPI CD-ROM drives. So that's why, before that, when I had the cables on backwards, you can't actually see those. And now it lists our drives, as you can see. At this point, I was kind of making some cuts here because it was still taking long for whatever reason. Because I was probably thinking that it was probably the stuff that was on the hard drive that was probably causing it, but I don't know. So we'll see. We'll see later on in this video, obviously. Which, by the way, let's see if I can do something here off the screen. And I'm still setting up some stuff on the I'm still setting up the stuff on the actual computer itself. So once I get everything sorted out, then I'll do an overview video, basically. So yeah, I'll probably do a couple more live streams of trying to get that all sorted out before I you know
Spare one.
yeah, as you can see, I was really trying to go through the BIOS to see what I'm gonna do.
Hard drive.
Well, I think I was there because my CD-ROM was not booting, so, and this was it always defaults to that particular layout, like removable device, hard drive, and then tap your CD-ROM in that order. After like a Windows install or something, it always resets back to that, or whatever reason. For whatever reason. "23 views and 1 concurrent viewers in this special live stream of mine. It's pretty much like a commentary stream, of me commenting on one of my latest videos here on the channel. And there we go. I got a Acronis Select Selector 5.0 special. I actually found out about Acronis Select Selector on a few other YouTube videos and channels that I kind of watched recently, and that's how I knew about that. Some of you might know who they are, if you get what I mean. And this is what was on that hard drive. So we see two partitions that's labeled as Presario, and then the D says Presario _ RP. And RP, I think it probably stands for recovery partition. So that's how I could probably tell that this Western Digital Vocabulary hard drive used to come off of a compact Presario computer. I would likely assume it's probably like the one, from, after Compact was acquired by HP. So it's probably one of those later Presario models from like the early to mid 2000s, somewhere around that time. The ones that came with like XP and stuff. And I did actually check, because I cut this clip out just to kind of like save time. But I was kind of going through kind of going through the files as best I can via the Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009 disk that I had, and I went to command prompt mode, and I think I went into like a Notepad or Explorer some type. I think it was Notepad, and I accessed that the partitions that were on that drive. And yeah, there were some files, though I couldn't really find a way to kind of like open that up without actually like making space for that. So I kind of just went ahead and just kind of like wiped out that drive, but you'll see more about that later on in this video. Just trying to make sure I don't give away too much details. Yeah, I was mentioning about the dedicated reset button, obviously, because as I said myself in this video, obviously, the two compact systems that I have don't have their dedicated reset buttons. I think you have to actually like press and hold the power button, to kind of like reset it. I don't know how that works, but on my custom built, it has a dedicated reset button. I think all of the most, if not all of the like the white box off the shelf like like generic unbranded cases of this type had dedicated reset buttons at this point in time, because I know in like computers manufactured by a like a major company or whatever, they don't actually have those dedicated reset buttons. Most of them don't. Like even the Presarios, and the HP systems that we had, they don't have dedicated reset buttons. They only had the power button. But yeah. 28 views and 1 concurrent viewer. So, how are we doing all in this special live stream of mine? Well, for watching in that live stream, well, in that premiere, I mean my live stream, I don't know. Yep, it seems like I got both the premiere and my live stream all at the ready, as we see. As I'm seeing it myself. With 28 views, 1 concurrent views at the ready. As you can see here, I am loading up gparted to see if I can actually try to shrink some of those partitions and make a new partition, but later on didn't want to go through the hassle of kind of doing that. I think I went in there just kind of like clear out those partitions. I don't know, because I think I had the gpart disk just to try to see if I could try to get the stuff on there to kind of load up, you know, without actually installing like an OS, whatever. But I don't know, there wasn't really anything that I could do at, you know, after that point. Oh yeah, I was referring to the computer's CPU fan. It definitely sounds quiet than the AMD compact, because I mean, get this, the CPU fan on my AMD compact is fairly noisy, obviously, and loud. And I said this before, you know, on some of my videos, and it kind of sounds like a aircraft carrier of some type, you know, like a jet engine or whatever. It kind of sounds like that. My AMD compact is kind of like the noisiest computer out of all of them. You know, even the Intel compact is not that noisy. The custom built computer I have isn't that noisy, and even the Dell computer that I have in my possession is also not that noisy. So AMD compact is kind of like an outlier in that case. Yeah, as far as desktop computers in my collection goes. Yeah, there's some flickering here, and there's really nothing I can do about that. So I pretty much just left it as is.
And that is still, I'll set to 60. There we go. That should be good. Is everything okay? Confirm within 15 seconds, otherwise previous state will be restored.
And then I suddenly went back into that one.
Sounds alright. 60 hertz. Got Presario partition, and we got Presario part.
Look at how much that Presario partition is taken up. So ideally, if I would have known, I would actually make another partition and then install Windows on it and see what's actually on that partition before I actually wiped it out. But I just went ahead and went into you know, you'll see about what I mean, you know, later on in the video, because I didn't want to go through the hassle. As you can see here, I'm opening up the browser and I can't really see the other partition. not from that that file browser window.
Grab us on the drive. Information, it's NTFS, Rosario, and then
But yeah, this is pretty much just like a vlog, like a build process log. Obviously, that's you know kind of like mostly edited and unedited. Certain parts are unedited, but certain parts are edited. Obviously, this is kind of like save time.
Rosario and Rosario are I mean, I don't even know what is actually on it. Should be 11. Where is trying to MS Doc trying to support this?
And at the moment, I'm testing out like the testing to see if a floppy drive will work. Yeah, honestly, don't know why it was kind of like doing that. I mean, now I have a different floppy drive, and I kind of have the wires set properly. It doesn't do that anymore. Maybe I might have the cables in backwards or whatever. But at the time, I didn't know. So, all that's a result of me trying to troubleshoot things and try and get things work on this thing. Because essentially, like I said, this is my first ever computer build of mine of any type. Whether it's old or new computers. This was one of the first ones that I worked on. We're at 35 views and 1 concurrent viewers. Only 5 people watching my premiere. And at the time, I was using the compact DVD-ROM CD-ROM drive that I kind of had put in storage on this thing as its main drive. I will later get the other optical drive, soonish as the primary, and I put I left the compact drive as a secondary drive, later on. So I brought out my Windows 98 disk, the OEM one, just to see if the optical disk drive will work. Which I do have hope that it will work. As you can see here, yeah, just take a look at, well, I think that was probably like a jump cut. Yeah, it was probably a jump cut because it was actually a bit longer, in real time, unedited. I gotta sneeze. I can hear it kind of like vibrating. Alright, let's see what's on C directory. Presario RP. A. I kind of muted myself sneezing, obviously, because I don't want to let you guys listen to my sneezing or like belching or whatever. In this commentary type stream, it's, how things go. Yeah, as you can see here, I'm trying to kind of like access those partitions, trying to see what's on the hard drive itself, and it seems like it couldn't. I couldn't. It seems like it. So I'm trying all different sort of ways to kind of like access it before I gave up. So I took the Windows 2000 Professional disk in there and see if I can try to get another way to access those partitions. And I guess after that, I used the Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009 disk, but then that part was actually taken out in the final edit. I actually had it in there as I was editing, but seeing that this video is already as long as it is, I kind of took it out, for time reasons. 37 views and 2 concurrent viewers, and we're still sitting at 5 people watching the premiere. I mean, obviously, everyone out there, they can watch after. They can watch this as a regular video. You know, because it is essentially like a video, but on a live stream. You know, for premiere, anyways. As you can see here, I'm going into the recovery console, obviously. Yeah, as you can see here, I'm trying to access the partitions on that drive as best as I can. You know, trying to find a way to kind of like see if I can get into those. I think I insert the Windows XP, not Windows XP, the Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009 disk in there. I'm not too sure because I didn't take a look at the footage. Oh yeah, I did insert the Windows XP disk. It was the Service Pack 3 Professional disk to see if I can also go into that said disk recovery console and see if I can try to access whatever that's on that disk. And then afterwards I probably used the Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009 disk to kind of like further access whatever partitions on there. But yeah, as you can see, this whole part is unedited. You can definitely tell how long it was pretty much taking. Yeah, you can tell that's getting. It's loading fairly slow than it usually would be. I would probably remedy that. You know, with the current setup that I have. You know, it might obviously be something relating to the ID cables or the memory that I'm using or the hard drive, or just, you know, I don't really know at this point, but somehow I got my setup to work, you know, how I wanted it to be after all this, because this is essentially like first time working on, you know, stuff like this, basically. As you can see here, examining this configuration. You can tell how long it is taking. And I did not edit this all out for time. I kind of left it in there as real time. Just to show how long it actually took. Yeah. I purposely left it unedited. Just so you can tell how long it took at the time. Now it doesn't do that anymore. Yeah, look at all those partitions. C:/Windows and mini NT. This is me trying to kind of like trying to enter in some of the stuff. And now we can actually see some of the stuff that's on this thing. And it definitely seems like it looks like a Windows XP install. Though I unfortunately wasn't able to save all of that because I just pretty much wiped out the drive, later on. Because I didn't know a way to kind of like get all that stuff out without leaving everything intact. And that is everything on the recovery partition. For the viewers, one concurrent viewer is at the ready. As you can see, I went to the root. I see a directory called War Games. Yeah, I did mention it there in the video. As you can see here, I'm trying to access whatever that's on the drive, and it won't let me. It wouldn't let me see what's actually in those things, just to see what's in there. Yeah, as you can see, it wouldn't let me. Because it would seem like that I had to be within the OS itself for it to work. But I wasn't able to get through there because, as I said before, I wiped the drive out, which we'll get into that in a bit. As you can see, I'm trying to, I was going through a trial and error process pretty much here, so, yeah. By the way, who's watching this live stream and the premiere? So we're sitting at 1 concurrent viewers and 42 views. Well, now there's 6 watching the premiere now. So I was inserting another floppy disk. And because I had the floppy disk drive kind of like, set up in a kind of like like in a different way or whatever, or if I had it backwards, it was not actually working as intended. Yeah, you can pretty much tell it's loading very, very slowly. Like it was not actually going anywhere. And I'm also likely suspecting that all the floppy disks that I have were kind of bit rotted somewhat, but I don't know. Because it's been a while since I have used floppy drives, of any type. And there's a jump cut there, because I did film another thing. That's after that. That was the Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009 thing. But there was another part before that, and I didn't save it. So I had the Windows Embedded POS Ready 2009 clip after that jump cut, but I didn't include it in this final cut because it would pretty much take up the whole entirety of how long this video actually is. So I kind of removed that. I cut that out. I left it out of the final cut. So now we're pretty much at this point where I'm pretty much I gave up and went ahead wiping the drive. Yeah, I pretty much said that it was probably it had a OEM install of Windows XP embedded, not Windows XP embedded, Windows XP Media Center Edition 2005. Judging by how it was set up. So at this point, I pretty much just gave up on trying to access the files in there. I just went ahead and just deleted those partitions, and then I went ahead and go into the, just reformatting the whole entire drive later on. Yeah, as far as the processor goes, I did swap the processor out to a higher clocked one.
Upside down there, there's a flip switch. So right now it's on the on position, but I flip this one to be off. It's always a good sign. I would have probably done this. Yeah, I would have probably done this the first time when I was beginning to get this computer, set this computer up basically.
I think I might have done it on the last video, but I'm not too sure. So as you can see here, I'm pretty much just reusing the power cord that I used on my Intel compact. That is a really tight fit on this thing, because you can see I'm trying my best to actually get on there, but it's very, very tight. It's a very, very tight fit. So yeah. At that point, I actually got on there, and it was a very, very tight fit. And so that's why I used well, we'll get into that in a bit. As you can see here, it's actually powering on. And that power plug that came with this case is the one I would actually use, for this build of mine. So instead of just reusing the power cord from used for my Intel compact, I basically used the one that came with the case itself. So yeah. This is pretty much at the moment I began to do like an OS install, attempt to do an OS install, see if I can try to get on there, but
supported can go up to 1 gig of RAM, and anything after that, like 1.5 gigs, it'll reboot. Probably
yeah, you had to use like specific like workarounds and stuff to try to get Windows 98 to work with like 1 gig of RAM or more. And I don't know if there are like unofficial fixes to kind of like overcome those types of bugs or limitations and stuff. I'm not too sure, but we'll see. Yeah, at that point the model was making the weird whining noise. You can't really hear it, in the video, but in person, in real life, I could definitely hear it. It was like a whining noise, almost similar to that, like a TV, CRT TV whine noise, but something like that.
Valid drive specification. I think what we're going to be doing, since we're going to be accessing the drive.
Yeah, because I deleted all those partitions, I would have to like set up a. I had to kind of like set up a new partition if I was able to do if I'm able to set up Windows 98 this way.
We'll go into what I just learned from a couple of YouTubers.
So at this point, I'm trying to format. I'm trying to format the drive itself, but yeah, as you can see here, I'm related to find out that I have not set up those primary partitions or something. So it's essentially looking for nothing at this point. Yeah, the partition, obviously. So I went to F disk. Yep. I knew it. Yeah, I was kind of scrambling for that Cronus West like this because I had it kind of like laying around my room, obviously. Kind of like scrambled around. I was talking about Cronus OS selector, the version that I was using, that I'm currently using at this point.
Kind of temperamental. So I mean, cooking the motherboard, cooking the CPU, whatever. But everything within this build is subject to change. We'll tell you that.
And I keep saying that because
What we should do
I could change whatever kind of components I have in here at any point in time. Like if I had like a different motherboard, different optical drives, or different graphics card, sound card, etc., etc., etc. Yeah, that could happen.
do this.
Maybe even the case itself, but who knows. So at this point, I pretty much set up partitions here.
About 60. I don't know how big.
And then I cut into this part. So I pretty much set up the OS's off camera, between that previous clip and this clip. This is when I began to put, some, like what we're going to be doing at this clip. So I pretty much took out the CPU fan, and because I pretty much noticed that because I put the CPU fan in there without any kind of thermal resistance, on the CPU fan itself. Yeah, I kind of cleaned that off camera. Yeah, I think when you get like a Pentium 4 CPU of any type, the included CPU cooler will have some pre-applied thermal paste on it. Isopropyl alcohol, that's what it is. So I pretty much cleaned up the CPU heatsink as best as I can, the bottom part. And this is where I began to use a thermal compound, which is a thermal pad, not thermal paste. It's like an Arctic brand thermal pad. And this was one of the first times I used a thermal pad, obviously. And I think I still have that, obviously, around here, but who knows.
There we go. That one I have.
So I'm pretty much trying to make it, kind of match up with the big old square on there. So I got a scissor there that kind of took out from one of the bathrooms in my house, and I used it to kind of like cut the. As you can see, I'm cutting away here as best as I can, trying to get it straight. It's not really that perfect, it's just like one part. Yeah, and there's the little one part that I kind of had to like fine tune. So this is at the point where I began to apply the thermal pad onto it. This is before I had to use like an actual thermal paste, thermal grease or whatever on it. That would come with the CPU that I would receive later on. You know, as far as this stuff goes, I'll have to get more of these, you know, in the future, especially for thermal pad or thermal grease stuff. So I try to make it as flat as I can. Kind of peeling away there. And there's like air bubbles in there, and so I tried to do my best to kind of like remove the air bubbles. Because you definitely don't want air bubbles within thermal pads. Probably never a good thing. Eventually, when I got the CPU upgrade for this thing, I took that thermal pad out and replaced it with the included thermal paste that came with the CPU upgrade that I got. And I guess that's pretty much working well as it is at the moment. 49 views and 1 current viewers. And I put the fan back as carefully as I can, just to try to make sure that I get it in there. So I kind of latch the fan back in. And at that point, I took out the 512 GeForce 6200 for whatever reason, I don't know. So this is the second of the last GeForce 6200 256 meg cards that I had. The first one, you know, I bought for the Intel Compact, obviously, but this one is the second of the last one. That was after I bought the 512 one, and I bought this one afterwards. So essentially, I have two of these cards. One of them's in storage, and one of them is actually in my custom build. That's this one. And the 512 gig card is sitting in a box in storage. So now I got the screwdriver there. Also, I will say this. I filmed these clips, obviously, and I kind of filmed these and edited these together. You know, I kind of did this in anticipation of, in celebration of reaching 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, since the beginning of December of last year. That's kind of partly why I did this. I mean, after I found the case itself, on eBay, and I bought it, and then I went ahead and bought the parts for it to make it happen. And by the middle of December, I was building it, and by the end of the month and the end of the year, it was pretty much all set up to what I have, at that time. Look at those stacks of Nintendo DS systems, the original models. I had the titanium gray and it's like a, I don't know what color is that. It's like a bright blue color. It's like a turquoise blue, and then the white color one on the bottom. They're all Japanese based systems, obviously. And I think we're close to the end of this video at this point. We still got like 5 watching here on the premiere, so. I'm gonna actually do something here and see top chat. Switch it to live chat. But yeah, we are that close. In fact, I'm gonna prep up something in the meantime. Is after this premiere ends, I think I had to like redirect to the stream. I think I had to redirect to the stream that I'm using. And here's the last part.
Well, at the moment, it's just, we're still in the basics, but let's show you progress here. Already in the boot menu, didn't really take that much.
So that's pretty much what I had at that time.
Didn't really take that much to boot off to see the splash screen, so that's fairly quick. Windows 98.
So I basically had. So basically, I had set up Windows 98 on here, and as you can see here, I had a basic install on it. I put a basic install of 90 on here because that was before I put drivers and whatever that I have on there.
I think. Yeah, boots. That shutdown screen went by.
Oh, and as you can probably tell, it's going by fairly quick now because I did something to it that kind of made it work as it is. So I think it's probably the ID cables configuration and whatnot. I don't know, but I eventually got it to work. Let's say that. And look at how quick it kind of goes, obviously. Yeah, at that point in time, because they're all just basic installs. Yep, I said it in the video.
No sound drivers, no chipset drivers, no nothing. Just a pretty basic install of all the OSs on this thing. So yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
We still got 5 watching here on the stream.
Here, pretty much. Everything's all wired up, pretty much. Yeah. You know, I may as well add in like a I may as well just add in like a IDE RAID card because why not? More IDE ports than I would need, but you know, this is thing that the case that I have in here is a tall full size tower case, obviously. Yeah, I still need to like install graphics cards and whatnot here, but everything should be ready to go.
I think I had the speakers muted because,
That down for now.
well, oh, I didn't have sound drivers. Okay.
Yeah, I got everything set up in
And that pretty much is about it for that live stream now.
Intel Pentium 4 build here, which I have coherently named it as the P4 Bondi. You know, because of this Bondi style.
P4 Bondi. I didn't use the John Pack name at the time, obviously.
But yeah.
But I think that's what the computer name I set. P4 Bondi. So there's no space in between the P4 and the Bondi thing. But eventually I named the computer as the John Pack Bondi P4. I did have named it as the P4 Bondi Beige 2660 for a short while before I came up with the John Pack name, and I named it as John Pack Bondi P4.
Probably a long, drawn out one. Probably might be about like an hour's worth.
And I would be correct on that, because the footage for part 2, well, both of them are like about like hours worth of videos, obviously.
Hope you all enjoyed it. And if you had, please don't forget to leave me a like, a thumbs up, comment down on this video to see how you feel about it, and make sure to subscribe for more videos on these compacts on here, and you know my other little doodads in there.
That's the first time I actually said that.
That subscribe button if you're interested, and turn on that bell notification. Set it to all so that way you can get all the notifications whenever I send out a new video.
Or live stream or short, whatever.
But yeah, that about wraps up in this video for me. So, thank you guys for watching this, and I hope to see y'all in the next one. See you later.
I don't know what I did there, but yeah, the premiere is pretty much over. So yep, that's it. Thanks for tuning in. Premiere ended. Yep, there it goes. I didn't have set redirect, so yeah, I guess that pretty much sums up for this particular setup. You know, this particular the commentary video, obviously. So yeah, that pretty much sums up for this part of the live stream, obviously. So and I didn't have it set to redirect to this live stream, obviously, this commentary live stream that's a companion. So it would seem like I had to like yeah. So I think one concurrent views and 55 views. So if you're watching this live stream, I'm gonna do a little bit of quick update, obviously. So I'm gonna switch myself to the camera mode to see the computer itself as it is now. So here it is. This is what it looks like now. So you can tell by some changes that I made. Refocus the camera here. You can tell some of the changes that I made to this computer since I recorded that footage. You can see that I swapped out the black hard drive with a correct beige white colored one. This is a Panasonic one that kind of fits within the, where the eject button is. So it's perfect as can be. Obviously, I bought the one before this. It's like this, but somehow that got damaged in shipping, so I replaced it with this one. So this is the second one I got. The first one got damaged in shipping. I think I may have it under my bed, but I'm not gonna take that out for obvious reasons. But yeah, I got this one here, and this is the drive that I kind of use as a primary. But as you can see here, I got this one now. This is like a Sony DVD RW/CD-RW drive that I have in this system now. So basically I have two drives. And as you can see right here, I added a front I/O connections. That contains a card reader, some audio ports that I couldn't get to work. Has a IEEE 1394 FireWire connector that I'm not using, and two USB 2.0 ports, front USB 2.0 ports that I'm actually using, with a little contraption that I made. And underneath there, replacing the blank that was in there previously is a zip drive, because I did mention in part 1 of the video that I said I might put a zip drive in there or something, and I actually did. What's in here? It's a zip 100 drive. I would love to upgrade it to like a zip 250 drive in the future. In fact, I did buy a zip 250 drive, but that was kind of like a untested and non-working one, so I put that off to the side and I put this one back. But yeah, and as far as the hardware goes, you really can't see it, but I'm gonna see if I can get it as best as I can here. So what is actually in there? Well, you can see the part of that contraption I had on this. So you can see there's another front I/O connections there, where the USB and the audio ports go, and they go onto the motherboard. So the USB ports go into the front USB port headers on the motherboard, and then the audio ports go to the audio headers on the motherboard. But that is for the onboard audio. So I disabled that because I had a sound card in there, obviously, at the moment. So those are not really useful. But hey, the most important thing is I got the front USB ports to work. That's the one important thing. I also swapped out the ID cables, so I'm no longer using 40-pin 40 wire ID cables. I'm using a 40-pin 80 wire ID cables. One of them is kind of like a braided, like these types of cables. I think it's like I don't know, it's not like those flat ones. It's like the little wraparound ones. It's like a tube shaped, I don't know what to say, but essentially, yeah, it's a long cable made to reach the optical drives. And yeah, there's really nothing much to say about the hardware of this thing. Oh, I will say this: I did swap out the hard drive, so I'm still keeping the Western Digital Caviar 160 gig drive in this thing, because I'm going to be using it for something else, like for experiments and whatnot. But the main drive that I have in the system is exactly the 500 gig Seagate drive that I took out from my AMD compact, because I took it out because the AMD compact is probably getting like a new hard drive soon. I did get a hard drive for it, but that one was a dud. So I mean, it's in that system now, but I'll replace it soon. But yeah, either way, I got the 500 gig hard drive in this thing, and as I put that thing in there, I noticed something different as far as the the LED goes. So I'm gonna zoom in here and take a look at the this hard drive access light on this thing. So I'm gonna turn the system on. So as you can see, it's kind of like it's a solid color at the moment, but watch as it kind of, yep, as you can see there, it's blinking correctly. So I don't know which OS I'm gonna go to, so because I obviously had it I do not have the monitor turned on nor the speakers turned on at the moment, but as you can see there, it's actually blinking as intended. So I did wire everything up as correctly as it is. So so now you can see it's actually turning off and on, blinking as it should be. And I know that because after I swapped from a Western Digital caviar drive to the Seagate drive, yeah, everything pretty much worked out well. Also, as I was setting up 98 on the Western Digital caviar drive, I got something about like a MS-DOS compatibility mode stuff issues. So yeah, and I kind of had to do all sorts of trickery to kind of like get that 98 installed to work on that drive, as far as installing like optical drives and whatnot. But the Seagate drive, it pretty much worked like out of the box, pretty much, like with no issues and whatnot. So yeah, that's interesting. But yeah, you can see there, it is actually working. I don't know which OS it booted, so I'm gonna turn off. I think it booted into Windows 98 2nd edition, it seemed like. Yeah, I could pretty much tell it went into something called Windows protection error and stuff, so I had to hit the reset button and then turn off from here. There we go. By the way, I will show you the OSs that I have on this thing ever since I've started doing some more tinkering to this, in my recent live streams. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn on the monitor and the speaker off screen, and I'll turn the computer on. Smoke test. And I'll redirect attention to the monitor itself. See what we have. First off, I'm going to go to the BIOS. First off, first most. Intel desktop boards, yada yada yada. Alright. So what we have on the system now? Well, we got a we got Intel Pentium 4. We got Intel Pentium 4 CPU clocked at 2.66 gigahertz. So that's what's in the system now. So originally when I got this board, the board is a D845 PESV. I thought it was like a GEBV2, but it's a PESV. So yeah. But yeah, the board originally came with like a 2 gigahertz processor. This thing is like a 2.0A gigahertz, a Pentium 4 Northwood with 400 megahertz frontside bus speed, and I replaced it with a 266, 2.66 gigahertz Intel Pentium 4 with a 533 megahertz frontside bus speeds, because that's the maximum frontside bus speed that this board supports. And the system memory speed is 333 megahertz, so we are not running at 266, we are running at 333. Because I mean, this board can detect that you're using like a frontside bus speed that's it's different, obviously. I don't know. And for total memory, we still have a gig of RAM, but as you can see, I'm using two 512 megabyte RAM sticks, both DDR 333. So yep, and the time at the time of the time is at the time of streaming, it's May 8th, 2026. So it's about like 4 months after I took that footage, and it looks like 2046. So that's like 8:46 p.m. That looks like it. PCI configuration. That's all there. Boot config. Plug and play OS no. Numlock on. Peripheral. Yeah, as you can see here, I disabled the onboard audio because I am using a dedicated sound card in the system now. And LAN device is enabled because, yeah, I have not gotten a dedicated, a PCI Ethernet card or whatever. But maybe down the line I may, if I want to have like gigabit Ethernet speeds, because I think the one on the motherboard supports like fast Ethernet. So yeah. ID configuration. So this is what I have in this system now. I have 500 gig Seagate drive, and iOmega Zip 100 drive, and then I got a Sony DVD-RW, DVD-ROM. Yeah, it's compact DVD-ROM. So yeah, this is the setup that I have on here now. Diskette configuration. I still have the single floppy drive configuration set up, though I may upgrade to like a, maybe like a dual floppy drive setup down the line, because, excuse me, I had to kind of like belch there, but like with the floppy drive cable being as long as it is and offering a couple of different floppy drive connectors, yeah, maybe I could probably use another floppy drive if that's the case. Event log. In the event log, oh wow, keyboard not functional. That was back when I had keyboard error, because I was trying to see if I can get the compact internet keyboard to work with PS/2 adapter, but that didn't work out. So video configuration, 256 meg at AGP aperture size, and then primary video adapter is AGP. USB config, so I got all that. Chipset config, ISA, yada yada. Fan control, enabled slow, so I left all those. I have not set a password for this thing. By the way, I really don't want to. ACPI, S1 state, and wake on LAN from S5 stay off. Power to power failure, last state. Wake on PCI PME stay off. Silent boot is enabled, and then rapid boot, it disables certain things, so it kind of like, it disables certain checks, so that makes booting a bit faster. But silent boot disables the text stuff and shows the splash screen. So this rapid BIOS boot is essentially like a quick boot thingery, from like my compact systems. It also has USB booting, because this computer has USB 2.0 ports. Chassis intrusion. I don't have a chassis intrusion switch, so that is always disabled. Boot device priority. And this is the default layout, and it doesn't actually get saved for whatever reason. Even though I switched this to this one, swap the boot devices around, it would somehow get reset, after I install Windows for whatever reason. As you can see, hard disk drives, that's in there. A tappy CD-ROM drives, that's in there. Removable devices. So essentially, when I was setting this system up the first time, this and this is absent. And on the removable devices, it only has first removable device, first floppy drive. I mean, this was back when I didn't have a zip drive at the time, but yeah. I'm going to go ahead and exit and boot into whatever I had on this system. So at the moment, I have what looks like a sextuple booted system. Whoa. Yeah, because, I mean, there's like 3 types of operating systems. So I got Windows 98 2nd edition. I got Windows 2000 Professional on here. And then I got multiple copies of Windows XP. So I got Home Edition and Professional. And then I got these other 2 that's pretty much modified versions of XP, Home Edition and Professional with the Windows 2000, Windows 9X look and feel, that aesthetic. We're going to go into Microsoft Windows 98 here. Again, don't mind the flickering. I mean, I can't really adjust it from this camera that I'm using, because I can't really adjust it from OBS. It's pretty much auto determined by this camera that I'm using. So I kind of like to do something here to kind of like alleviate that. But there's the boot screen of my Windows 98 install. It's pretty much like a modified version of the Windows 98 Plus splash, with the Microsoft logo and the modification, slight tweak to the Plus 98 part on that. Because I do have Microsoft Plus Windows 98 installed on this thing. As you can see, it's taking a little while because of all the stuff that I kind of add onto it, all the updates and such. Here we go. Windows 98 Plus is starting up, and as you can see, I do have the DOS drivers installed on here. And we are booted into the operating system. It's got the network logon dialog box. I'm going to hit escape just because why not. Yeah, it's kind of a little bit chugging here, but hey, it works. So here we are on Windows 98 2nd edition. This is pretty much what I have on here. It's all the stuff that I have. I'll get into installing more of my stuff later. The stuff I had, I pretty much have like every single version of Office that's supported on here. Office 97 to Office XP. So yeah. And I also have Microsoft Bob on here because why not? Windows Stat and every other things, and some stuff from that chipset disk that I used for this thing. And I'll go ahead and restart. I'm hearing that floppy disk kind of seeking away. Yeah, it's doing that. Intel desktop boards, Intel Inside Pentium 4. Alright, now go into Windows 2000 Professional. And again, I have set this thing up. I did have the Intel Application Accelerator installed on this thing, and that kind of put itself within that 128 gigabyte limit, well, imposed by that. Because when I had that installed and I had the other partitions outside of that, this wouldn't boot. So I had to uninstall it, and now it works. So there's one thing about this thing. I mean, it's already not set to install by default. So yeah, just want to see how that works. And yeah, Control Delete. Enter my name. Again, it's kind of like a semi-basic install of Windows 2000. Basically what I have on here. Yeah, not that much install Windows 2000, but I will down the line. We're sitting at 59 views and 2 concurrent viewers at the ready. And yeah, this is pretty much like post-stream at this point. This is post-stream. This is the post-stream part of this live stream. So we've done the commentary part of this live stream. Now we're on the post-stream part, where I pretty much take a look at what we have on this system as far as the setups I have. Now, of course, since we have the Sound Blaster Live card in this thing, I'm going to have to turn off the speakers because I know it's going to blow out these speakers. So Windows XP has built-in drivers for the Sound Blaster Live series. and this is just a basic install, obviously. So I didn't have the graphics, sound, or chipset drivers installed on here yet. Yeah, it's just a pretty basic install. I'll set it up later, off camera or on a live stream. We'll see how that goes. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. About an hour and 56 minutes now. And going to Windows XP Home Edition. So I kind of had to install all the OSs in the order that I have. So it's like 98 first, 2000 second, then the other XP stuff afterwards. So like Professional is first, Home Edition second, and then the other two XP OSs that will be transferring to the Windows 2000, Windows 9X instead. I do in that same order. So Professional and then Home. Pretty much how I follow. So this is, once again, XP Home Edition. So I kind of log that out. We're at 60 views and 3 concurrent viewers at the ready. Yeah, at the moment we are sitting at around 3 concurrent viewers at this latter part of the stream. Alright, and I'll take a look at the work in progress stuff of the Windows 2002 stuff, as I called it. For Professional Home Edition, I still had to set up the the transformation packs and stuff. But here we have basic install, once again, administrator, restart. I still had to set all this stuff up, off camera or on a live stream. Though, yeah, because I still am setting some things up here, I'm going to do a couple live streams where I kind of set this thing up, live in real time, before I actually make a proper overview video of this thing. Because although I've introduced it by uploading those build log videos, I haven't formally introduced this computer, in the way that I would like to kind of like introduce it, So, yeah. Oh, it looks like I haven't set this up. Okay. I guess I'm just gonna have to go ahead and just hit this one. Set this up. I'll hit cancel. So it's to switch back to 640 by 480 and completely skip the out-of-the-box experience. There we go. We have booted ourselves to a low resolution. Yeah. Owner. Yeah. The default account name is owner. So yeah, I'll go ahead and restart. I think I'll go ahead and shut down, because I think we've seen enough. As far as this video goes, yeah, I'm gonna have to like end the stream here at this point. So yeah, I guess with that being said, that'll probably be about it for this live stream. So, I guess with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this live stream, whether you're watching this or not. We're at 2 hours in, so I think it's about time we shall end it here. So yeah, I guess with that being said, thank you all so much for watching this live stream of mine, whether you're watching this or not, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Take care. Bye bye.